Hi, my name is Rajneeta Meghraj, and today I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to dissect a sheep kidney. First and foremost, let's discuss the kidney briefly. We all know that mammals have two kidneys, one on either side of the abdomen. Kidneys play a very important role in filtering and purifying blood. They are also involved in osmoregulation, which is the active control of water content and salt concentrations in the blood. They are also involved in regulating blood pressure, increasing sugar levels, and also the metabolism of calcium. Now, before we proceed to the actual dissection, let's discuss a few safety measures that are important to follow. First and foremost, you need to be using a lab coat and gloves. This is important because we are dealing with foreign material and we may not be aware that these materials may carry bacteria, viruses, and parasites. So we need to ensure that we avoid skin contact with these materials. Secondly, we are dealing with instruments that are extremely sharp. So these instruments need to be handled with care. Thirdly, we need to ensure that our dissection kit and our instruments are clean and free of rust at all times. The reason for this is that rust may destroy the sharpness of these instruments, and this may hamper our dissection. Next, we need to ensure that we use closed shoes, and if we have long hair, it needs to be tied up. In the event of a cut, we need to ensure that we have a first aid kit around. And lastly, after completing the dissection, we need to ensure that we thoroughly disinfect and wash our hands and the work surfaces that we performed our dissection on. Now, I will be showing you what instruments I will be using for this dissection. First, I'll be using a scalpel. I'll be using a probe. I will be using another sharper probe that I will use to point to the different parts of the kidney. I'll be using a forceps. And if necessary, I'll be using another type of forceps. After the dissection, please make sure that you correctly dispose the animal material that was used. Now we will proceed to the actual dissection of the kidneys. First of all, we'll notice that the kidney is bean-shaped. Now we take a look at the outer appearance of the kidney. First of all, notice the shiny membrane on the outside. This is called a renal capsule. The renal capsule is often surrounded by a layer of fat, and together the renal capsule and the fat forms as a protective layer for the inner contents of the kidney. It protects the kidney from any type of injury. Now let's take a look at the midsection of the kidney. The midsection of the kidney is called the hilus. The hilus has three vessels attached to it. Firstly, the ureter. The ureter functions as a channel to transport the excreted waste products in the form of urine to the bladder. The next vessel is the renal artery and the renal vein. The renal artery is often thicker, whereas the renal vein is much thinner. The renal artery transports unfiltered blood to the kidney, whereas the renal vein transports filtered blood back to the heart. Now, using my scalpel, I will now dissect the kidney. Using my probe, I will now examine the internal structure of the kidney. This dark region beneath the renal capsule is called the cortex. Notice this reddish region around here. This is called the medulla. Below the medulla are triangular structures called pyramids. This area is called the renal pelvis. The renal pelvis serves to function as a cavity that collects the urine. The urine consists of the excreted products. Behind the pyramids, we would notice collecting ducts. These collecting ducts are called renal tubules. These renal tubules are connected to nephrons. Now, the medulla and cortex consists of thousands of microscopic nephrons. These nephrons serve as blood filtering units. So, the urine that is collected in the renal pelvis is transported to the urethra and then to the bladder. The urine consists of the excreted waste products. After the filtering process, the blood that has been deoxygenated and filtered is now transported back to the heart through the renal vein.